Okay.
So Rupert Murdoch, friend of the show,
Right.
media mogul, owns News of the World newspaper in the UK.
For anyone else who doesn't know, also owns Fox News, is starting to own so much media that it would actually, the amount of media he owns would be illegal in certain countries. That one person cannot have that much power, especially when it's slanted right wing.
Right. So there's a story that was pretty huge in the UK about this missing schoolgirl named Millie Dowler. And her family was searching for her. And then it became news that the News of the World, which again is Rupert Murdoch's newspaper, was illegally targeting the missing schoolgirl, Millie Dowler, and her family in March 2002, interfering with police inquiries into her disappearance. An investigation by The Guardian has established.
So what do you mean targeting?
Okay, so what happened was they were illegally accessing Millie's phone. And the reason they were doing this is because, print media is in trouble and they're constantly racing to get breaking news because they want to beat TV media, they want to beat internet media, they want to be the one to get the big scoop.
Right.
But here's what they did. They kept calling her voicemail. And people were leaving messages on her voicemail, and it got full. So what they did was delete the voicemails.
Whoa.
Her family finds out that the voicemails have been deleted, and they think she's alive. They do an interview with the News of the World saying, "We're so hopeful now because Millie's voicemails have been deleted, so we know she's alive." And they don't say anything.
Whoa.
The police hear that her voicemails have been deleted, and they continue to operate as though this is a lead. They think that she's still alive. So they interfered with an investigation. They let her family think that their daughter was still alive.
They let the cop follow a false lead.
Yep. So now it would be one thing if this was the only time this has happened, but the News of the World actually has a long tradition of wiretapping people. For example, the royal family.
Well, did you read about what, I don't know if this broke today, but Chris Hayes over The Nation posted, he didn't write about it, The Nation, he just posted a link about the 7/7 bombings.
Yes, that's actually what I was going to talk about just now. So the editor of the newspaper at the time, the News of the World got in trouble for wiretapping, intercepting messages from the royal family, meant for the royal family. His name was Andy Coulson. Andy Coulson had to resign from the News of the World.
Right.
But then he went to work for David Cameron.
David Cameron, the conservative leader.
Yeah, as his communications chief. After his resignation over phone hacking from News of the World. Cameron then defended Coulson on numerous occasions and even made him head of communications at Downing Street while the allegations were on the front pages. And then it's written that reports suggest that Coulson resigned at Murdoch's insistence, not Cameron's.
Wow.
Which I found interesting just because, once again, it seems like Rupert Murdoch has more power than the head of a state.
Right. And it's that same, cycle that happens here. Fuck up in government, become a lobbyist. Fuck up as a lobbyist, go to government.
Yeah. So what you were saying, Jamie, was the 7/7 bombings. Yeah. So they're saying that reports have emerged that the families of several other high-profile victims have had their phones hacked into, as have the families of the victims of the 7/7 bombings.
Yeah. News of the World actually hired a private investigator.
Yes.
To do that.
So they're saying several high-profile victims. So
look, if there's a tragedy, if you were over in the UK, if you did, right, there's a good chance that the fucking pariahs over at News Corp are trying to capitalize on that and listen to the voicemail of the emotionally shattered relatives of yours.
Yes, as part of a desperate quest to maintain some kind of legitimacy in their dying media.
Right. You dead media.
So this is just interesting because everybody was trying to shield the brass in this. They were trying to shield the upper echelons of the News of the World from liability.
Right.
But this was official policy. This is what they're saying in the article, where everybody knew that they did this.
Right.
So it's nice just to see on the Guardian's website, like Rupert Murdoch's name and photos splashed everywhere, because I'm sure he thought, well, I could just say that I don't know what the practices are in my own newsroom. Like, really?
Right.
Really?
And